In the peaceful village of Abule, there lived a curious boy named Timi. He was always asking questions, exploring the forests and dreaming of big adventures. One day, while playing near the riverbank, something shiny caught his eye. "What's that?" Timi whispered, his eyes wide with excitement. He bent down and uncovered a small golden pebble hidden under some leaves. The pebble glimmered in the sunlight, and as soon as Timi touched it, something strange happened. A warm, glowing light surrounded him, and he felt a gentle breeze swirl around him. "Wow, this is amazing," he said to himself. Timi put the pebble in his pocket and rushed home to tell his best friend Ayo about his incredible find. "Ayo, you won't believe what I found," Timi shouted as he ran into Ayo's house, panting. Ayo, who was busy drawing pictures on a piece of paper, looked up. "What is it, Timi?" Timi pulled out the pebble and held it up. "This! I found it by the river, and when I touched it, something magical happened." Ayo's eyes widened as he examined the golden pebble. "It's beautiful, but are you sure it's magical?" Before Timi could answer, the pebble began to glow again, and the room was filled with soft golden light. Suddenly, a small bird appeared in front of them, chirping excitedly. "Hello, young adventurers," the bird spoke, much to their surprise. "I am Chirpy, the guardian of the Golden Pebble. You found something very special, but with great magic comes great responsibility." Timi and Ayo were stunned. This is real magic," Timi exclaimed, his heart racing. Chirpy nodded. "Yes, but you must be careful. The Golden Pebble grants wishes, but it also tests the hearts of those who use it. If you make selfish wishes, things can go terribly wrong. However, if you use it for good, it will bring great rewards." Timi and Ayo looked at each other, both excited and a little nervous. They couldn't believe that they now had the power to make their wishes come true, but Chirpy's warning echoed in their minds. "Let's be careful, Timi," Ayo said softly. "We don't want to cause any trouble." Timi nodded, but he couldn't help but wonder what amazing things they could do with the pebble. He glanced at the pebble in his hand and thought about all the fun he could have, but he knew they had to be smart. As they walked back outside, the sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow over the village. Chirpy perched on Timi's shoulder, ready to guide them on their journey. "What should we wish for first?" Timi asked. Ayo thought for a moment. Maybe we should help someone, like we could wish for food for the people in the village. Before they could decide, a loud crash came from the forest nearby. Startled, they ran toward the noise and saw a group of children from the village arguing near a broken tree. One of the children, Kola, was upset, holding the remains of a kite in his hand. "My kite got stuck in the tree, and now it's ruined," Kola cried. "Why does everything bad happen to me?" Timi looked at Ayo and then at the pebble. "Maybe we could use the pebble to help him." Ayo hesitated, but remember what Chirpy said, we should think carefully before making any wishes. Timi nodded, holding the pebble tightly in his hand. Should he use the magic to fix Kola's kite, or should he save the wish for something more important? Just as Timi was about to make his decision, the golden pebble started to glow again, as if sensing the conflict in his heart. As the golden light from the pebble faded, Timi stared at Kola's broken kite, unsure of what to do. Ayo stood beside him, her eyes filled with concern. "Timi, we have to think about this," Ayo said gently. "What if we use the pebble now and it causes more problems?" Timi bit his lip, remembering Chirpy's warning about making selfish wishes. Kola, still upset, looked at Timi and Ayo. "Why are you just standing there? Can't you help me?" Timi took a deep breath. "I think we can help you, Kola, but maybe we don't need magic to do it." Together, Timi, Ayo, and Kola worked to gather sticks and leaves to repair the kite. It wasn't easy, but with teamwork and patience, the kite was soon flying again in the evening breeze. "Wow, it's even better than before," Kola exclaimed, his face lighting up with joy. "Thank you." Timi felt a warm feeling inside, happier than if he had used the magic. "See? We didn't need the pebble after all," he said, smiling at Ayo. Chirpy fluttered in front of them, his eyes twinkling with approval. Well done, Timi and Ayo. You made the right choice. You showed that sometimes hard work and kindness are more powerful than magic. As the sun fully set, casting a purple glow over the village, Timi and Ayo said goodbye to Kola and headed home. On the way, Timi couldn't stop thinking about the pebble's power and the many possibilities it held. I'm glad we didn't use it today, Ayo said as they walked. But what if we really need it someday? Timi nodded. I've been thinking about that too. We should save it for something truly important. Just as they were about to reach their homes, a figure suddenly stepped out of the shadows. It was an old man with a crooked staff, his face wrinkled and worn. Good evening, children, the man said in a raspy voice. I couldn't help but notice that you're carrying something special. Timi clutched the pebble in his pocket, feeling a sudden chill. Who are you? He asked cautiously. The old man smiled, his eyes gleaming. I'm just a traveler passing through, but I've seen many magical things in my time, and I know the power of the golden pebble you carry. Ayo stepped closer to Timi, feeling uneasy. How do you know about the pebble? The man chuckled. I know more than you think, young ones. That pebble has been lost for many years, and now that it's been found, many will come looking for it. Timi's heart raced. What do you want? The old man's smile faded. I want to warn you. There are those who seek to use the pebble for their own selfish desires. If you're not careful, it could fall into the wrong hands. Timi and Ayo exchanged worried glances. The weight of the pebble seemed heavier now, and Timi realized just how dangerous it could be. What should we do? Timi asked, his voice shaking slightly. The old man tapped his staff on the ground. You must protect it and use it only when absolutely necessary. But beware, there are people in the village who already know you have it. Before they could ask more questions, the old man turned and disappeared into the darkness, leaving Timi and Ayo standing in silence. We have to be careful, Timi, Ayo whispered, her eyes wide with fear. What if someone tries to steal the pebble? Timi nodded, his mind racing. We'll have to hide it and only use it when we really need to. As they hurried home, Timi couldn't shake the feeling that their adventure had only just begun. The next morning, Timi and Ayo met by the riverbank, the golden pebble safely hidden in Timi's pocket. The old man's warning from the previous night echoed in their minds. As they talked about what to do next, they heard a commotion coming from the village. Curious, they ran toward the sound and saw a crowd gathered near the village square. In the middle stood the chief's son, Dare, holding a broken wooden toy in his hands. He was furious. Who broke this? Dare shouted. I'll make sure whoever did it pays for this. Timi and Ayo stood at the edge of the crowd, watching as Dare's anger grew. Maybe we should help, Ayo whispered. Timi shook his head. Remember what Chirpy said? We can't use the pebble for selfish reasons, and Dare's just angry. He needs to calm down. Just then, Dare spotted Timi and Ayo. His eyes narrowed. You too! I heard you've been hiding something powerful. Maybe you can fix this for me. Timi's heart raced. He could feel the pebble in his pocket, glowing faintly. The crowd turned to look at them, and suddenly, everyone was whispering about the magic pebble. Is it true? One of the villagers asked. Can you use it to fix things? Timi swallowed hard. We have something special, but we have to be careful how we use it. Dare stepped closer, his eyes gleaming with greed. Why be careful when you can do anything? Give me the pebble, and I'll make sure everything goes my way. Timi froze. This was exactly what the old man had warned them about, people trying to take the pebble for selfish reasons. He felt Ayo tug at his arm. Timi, we can't let him have it, she whispered urgently. Timi nodded, but he wasn't sure what to do. Then, Chirpy suddenly appeared, flying in circles above their heads. This is the moment you've been preparing for, Timi. Remember, the pebble tests your heart. Dare reached out his hand. Give it to me, now. Timi, male, 10, round face, light brown skin, short curly black hair, Nigerian, brown eyes, wears a green t-shirt and shorts. Timi closed his eyes, his hand clutching the pebble. He thought about everything that had happened, the kite, the old man's warning, and Chirpy's advice. He realized that the pebble's power wasn't meant to fix selfish desires or make people happy instantly. It was about making the right choices and doing good for others. Timi opened his eyes and stepped forward. "Dare, the pebble isn't meant for things like this. You can fix your toy yourself, and if you ask for help, people will be happy to assist you." Dare's face turned red with anger. "I don't need help. I need magic." Timi stood firm. "Sometimes magic isn't the answer. We all have to work hard and learn to solve problems ourselves." Now, the crowd murmured again, but this time there was agreement. Several villagers stepped forward to offer Dare help with his toy. Dare, seeing the crowd's reaction, hesitated. Then, without another word, he stormed off. Chirpy fluttered down to Timi and Ayo, smiling. "You've passed the test. You showed that the greatest power isn't in the pebble, it's in your heart. You used kindness, wisdom, and teamwork instead of relying on magic." Timi looked at the pebble one last time. He understood now that the pebble wasn't meant to be a solution to every problem. That it was a reminder of the strength they all had inside themselves. With a deep breath, he placed the pebble in the river, watching it sink into the water, glowing one last time before disappearing. Chirpy chirped happily. "Now, you've learned the most important lesson of all. True power lies in making good choices, helping others, and working together. The magic will always be with you, in your actions and in your heart." Timi smiled at Ayo. "We didn't need magic after all." As they walked back to the village, the sun shining brightly above them, Timi knew that their adventure was over. But the lessons they had learned would stay with them forever. The story teaches that true strength comes from making thoughtful choices, being kind, and working together. Magic and power may seem exciting, but the real magic lies in doing what is right and helping others without expecting anything in return.